Hello Internet, Andrew H here for LPX Studios, welcoming you to another LPX vlog. Today's topic is going to be the Samsung Galaxy Note 4 versus the Samsung Galaxy S6 and S6 Edge. And whether you should, if you are a current Note 4 user, if you should upgrade, or if you're looking into the market at both of these devices, which one should you choose? So quickly, let's just go over the specs really quick. So which one is better? Well, obviously the Note 4 has the bigger screen at 5.7 inches, while the Samsung Galaxy S6 has a 5.1 inch screen. Now, the Note 4 had a stunning 2560 by 1440 resolution display, having 515 pixels per inch. But it was dethroned by the S6 because it shares the same resolution at 2560 by 1440. But in order to achieve that, they had to increase the pixel density to 577 pixels per inch, which is a 15% increase. Now, as for processors, the Note 4 started off with a 2.7 GHz quad-core Snapdragon processor, and later they started implementing the Exynos processors, but they weren't available in America, so I'm going to go ahead and exclude those for now. Now, the X6, on the other hand, is starting off with Samsung's own processor, the Exynos processor, which is technically an octo-core, which is 8 cores. But what it does is it has a 1.5 GHz quad-core processor and another 2.1 GHz quad-core processor. So now I haven't completely understand how they work, but I'm assuming that one core is dedicated to the phone functions while the other is going to be dedicated to things like apps. Now, as for RAM, both devices share 3 GB worth. But while the Samsung Galaxy Note 4 carries DDR3 RAM, the Samsung Galaxy S6 runs DDR4, which actually runs a lot more efficient than the DDR3 memory does. So you get increased efficiency as well as less power consumption. So how about cameras? Well, the front camera for the Note 4 had a 3.7 megapixel camera, and the S6 has a 5 megapixel camera with some added extra lenses to allow in more light. So if you guys saw the press conference video, the cameras really look good even in darker areas where there's no light of it. And for the rear cameras, they both share a 16 megapixel camera, but once again, the S6 is implementing a new lens as well as some additional features and hardware in the background that really bring up the image and video quality of the S6. So camera-wise, the S6 beats it. Now, one last spec that everyone's been arguing about is the memory issue. So while the Note 4 has a standard 32 GB hard drive and an expandable SD card slot that can hold up to 128 gigs, the S6 on the other hand has gotten rid of the SD card slot and instead gone with 3 preset hard drives that you can choose from, sort of like what Apple has done. So you can choose from 32 GB, 64, or 128. So what that means is you're going to have to be paying for those phones respectively. So if they follow suit what Apple did, they're going to be anywhere from $100 to $150 price differences between each level, which is making a lot of people upset, including me. Because why would I want to pay $200+ for an additional 100 gigabytes when I can just go ahead and buy a $40, $50 SD card and get the same amount of memory? But one point that I want to give towards the S6 compared to the iPhone 6 is that the iPhone 6's base model has 16 gigabytes while the S6's base model comes with 32. So you get double the memory. So as for the specs, as you can clearly tell, the S6 pretty much beats the Note 4 in every way except for the screen size and the S Pen and some other functionality. But for performance-wise, the S6 wins, obviously. But that's not all that goes into considering getting the S6 or the S6 Edge. There's a lot more things that you guys have to consider before considering getting that device or the Note 4 or upgrading to the S6. Now, I'm not a big press guy, so I wasn't able to attend the event to go play with it, but from the looks of it, it looks like it has a premium finish for once. Don't get me wrong, the Note 4 is absolutely gorgeous. I love it. I love the metal finishing on the side, and even though it's a fake pleather on the back, it feels like leather and it feels nice. The phone felt premium to me. And I can only speculate that the S6 feels nice as well because it's a full metal finish. It looks like brushed aluminum. I think something else, but they're saying that it's an enhanced metal, so it won't bend like the iPhone 6. The Note 4 doesn't bend either because they already did that too. But I can only speculate that it actually feels good or even better than the Note 4. And a lot of you who are maybe considering upgrading to the S6 or moving for the Note 4, maybe you guys weren't a fan of the Samsung's TouchWiz. Well, for the S6, they apparently fixed this issue. They made the TouchWiz less prevalent in the user interface, so it sits more in the background a lot further, so it's less interrupted to your day-to-day. How this was implemented, it's yet to be seen because I need to get my hands on the device, but this is pretty much just going off of what we've seen so far. Now, which of the two phones have better functionality in general? Obviously, I can't give a true opinion on the S6 quite yet because I haven't tested it, but from first impressions, it looks like they paid a lot of attention to a lot of consumer complaints from their customers for Samsung, because the S6 pretty much addressed a lot of issues just from the press conference. So things like visibility, clutterness, navigation, they really made it easy. Now, while the iPhone is probably the easier to navigate just because they are the user-friendly interface, Samsung has taken a leap forward in my opinion, making color associations, putting text instead of icons now, so people don't have to pretty much learn what icons are. So now no longer will you have to say, oh, the 3 dots are options. No, it will say options now. A couple little cool things I liked about the S6 Edge specifically is how they use the side panels to the display. So let's say you're in a meeting. So a lot of you who are business people who might be getting this phone, you can pretty much flip the phone upside down, and whoever you can go ahead and associate 5 different colors for 5 important contacts. And when the phone's upside down, it will glow. Let's say your wife or your husband is blue. It will start glowing blue when they're calling. And let's say you can't answer them quite yet. So what's cool about it is you can go ahead and put your finger over the back of the phone, and you can preset a message to send back to them saying that, hey, I'm in a meeting right now, so I'll call you later. So, I mean, little things like that is really cool, I think. Now, the Samsung the Samsung Note Edge, on the other hand, implemented their side panel for like quick links and quick icons. So it's more like a quick bar, so you can access the important apps to you, as well as read out certain apps for when you have the little cover for it and stuff. Now, as for the camera, I really love the Note 4's camera. I mean, my girlfriend is jealous of my phone, and she actually uses it a lot to take pictures instead of her own camera and stuff. And it really does well. But I did have an issue with the low light issue, because at nighttime, it took good pictures, but it was still very dark, and even the flash did no justice. But from what we've seen so far of the S6's camera, it's going to be nice because it allows in more light. So it's sort of like what you see is what the camera's going to see. I mean, I want to test this out personally, but from what the other reviewers have said so far, from their first hands-on experience, that camera is probably going to end up being one of the best cameras you can get on a smartphone for now. And we'll have to see what the other companies will release later this year. How about peripherals? Well, they apparently got a wave of accessories planned for the S6, as they did for the previous phones, like flip covers, additional cases, and etc, etc. But my main focus is on the virtual reality stuff, so the Gear VR. They announced that there's going to be a new Gear VR for the S6. So for those of you who are contemplating on whether to get the Note 4 or the S6 for the virtual reality experience, my opinion is to get the S6 because you're going to get higher performance, better battery efficiencies, and a slightly better screen. So it's going to run longer, hopefully run cooler, and you're going to get less of a screen door effect as you get in the Note 4. Don't get me wrong, the Note 4 is a beast. It can run these apps. For those of you who are like worried about the overheating issues, you got to keep in mind, these phones are running PC-graded apps and programs that are meant to be run on a PC that was rigged for the phone. So they're being overworked. So I mean, you're getting the best bang for your buck right now, because you're putting a computer and display in your face. I'm an Oculus Rift user, and I had to use a whole entire PC setup with a bunch of wires and everything in order to get that virtual experience. So let me tell you, it's worth it. But going back, another thing that's good about the S6's Gear VR is the extended battery life, because the head unit, it's going to have an additional battery pack built in, so it will actually charge your phone while you're using it. Now, I'm pretty sure they're going to add some extra other gimmicks to it, but you can expect the library to just grow even with this device. So you'll be happy with either device, but if you're a first-time user for Samsung devices, I'd say go with the S6 if you're looking for the virtual reality stuff. Now, going back to the whole SD card thing, the reason why they got rid of it is because they no longer have a removable battery for the S6. Now, this point isn't really a big issue for me, because I'm not the person that carried around an extra battery for my Note 4, because I always kept it charged. But there are many out there who actually like the ability to be able to swap out batteries when they needed it to extend their battery life. But apparently for the S6, they increased the charge time over the Note 4. I can tell you this, guys, right now, my Note 4 charges ridiculously fast in my opinion. But the fact that they made it faster, it may be a sort of a relief for a lot of people. And on top of that, it has built-in wireless charging. So for most of you, that may not be a major issue or not, but it's a nice little convenient factor. So if you already have an existing wireless charge pad, or if there's a place that has one available, you can just simply rest your phone on and it will charge. Now, I pretty much gone over the general highlights of what they discussed in the press release as well as during the conference compared to the Note 4 in my experience. And my final verdict for those who have Note 4, so if you're a fellow Note 4 user, I say hold off on upgrading. If you're in the middle of your contract or you feel like you can wait for the Note 5, wait, because in my opinion, the Note 5 will be even better than the S6 when that comes out later this year. But if you're a first-time buyer of a Samsung phone device and screen size is not an issue to you, then I say go with the S6 because you're getting the performance, you're getting the extra functionality, and the usability is just that much easier for you. And the thing is, if you're coming from the iPhone to the S6, I'm going to be doing another iPhone 6 comparison to the S6. But in my opinion, you should get the S6 just because the battery's not going to be an issue for you and the memory won't be an issue for you because you never had that before anyway. So there's nothing for you to complain about. But you're going to enjoy a significantly better screen, better performance, and you're going to get improved camera, everything. The experience is going to be better and it's open source. So there's a lot of apps available and it's just great. So, and on top of that, guys, you can enjoy virtual reality. So, I mean, I know this is sort of a split decision, but that's my final verdict. But if you have any other opinions on the S6 or the Note 4, I'd be more than happy to hear them, and I'm pretty sure people online would love to chit-chat with you about it as well. But please be on the lookout for my next video, which is going to be the iPhone 6 versus the Samsung Galaxy S6, to see my opinion on that. Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you have any feedback or questions or whatever, please go ahead and leave them in the comment section down below, and either me or someone in the community will get back to you. And if you haven't already done so, please go ahead and leave a thumbs up or a thumbs down. Let me know if you liked or disliked this topic. And as always, if you aren't a subscriber already, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button for more content, as well as to join the ever-growing community that we're fostering here. And if I don't see you in the next video, thanks for stopping by. I hope you guys at least got some information out of this one. But hopefully, I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.